Hello guys, this is Alex Gomez from Easy3D. On today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a Christmas diorama in Blender 3.0 so you can use it for Instagram as an NFT or just print it out and give it as a holiday card to your loved ones. Follow my socials in the description below and don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and hit the notification bell to be notified when I post a video every Friday. So let's get to it, guys. Okay, so opening Blender 3.0, I'm gonna select my camera, my light, and my cube, and I'm gonna press X and delete. Perfect. After pressing X and delete, what I'm going to do, I'm gonna press Shift A, and I'm going to create a UV sphere. I have the UV sphere nice here. I'm gonna press S to scale and Z. I'm gonna just scale it down in the Z axis. After scaling down the Z axis, I'm gonna add a modifier. It's gonna be a subdivision surface. I'm gonna put the levels in the viewport tree, and then I'm gonna apply this. After having that done, I'm gonna go to the sculpting window, and in the sculpting window I'm going to go to my Y, snap it in the Y right here, and I'm gonna look for this brush right there, the box trim. Okay, so I'm gonna draw a box right in the middle. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but after this is done, what I need to do is do a remesh. I'm gonna remesh, and the voxel size is gonna be 0.02, and let's click remesh. After having that remesh, I'm gonna select my inflate brush, and I'm gonna start inflating pieces here and changing the size of my brush. Okay, I'm gonna go all the way around, just kind of like to randomize it, do it pretty random right there. Let's do this one here, another one there. Let's do this one bigger, and this one, and let's add a couple small ones, kind of like that, like that, and kind of like with shift you can smooth these a little bit if you see that there's some that are kind of like popping out too much. Okay, then you see that I have this edge really like jaggedy, really I don't like it as much, so I'm just very rough, I will say. So let's smooth it out with shift. You just smooth it out and click. If I go too hard, it's just gonna smooth out a lot like this. That's too much. I just want a little bit, so I'm just kind of like shift and click. I normally do this with my graphics tablet, but just I don't need it to do too much sculpting in this case. Okay, perfect. So once I have this, I'm gonna go to my layout mode, and in the layout mode I'm gonna press Shift A, and I'm gonna create a cylinder. Okay, I have my cylinder. I'm gonna press GZ to move it up. Perfect. And then I'm gonna press S to scale it down, and let's see, GZ, move it down a little bit, and I think let's scale it down on Z, SZ, let's scale it down a little bit, and I think this is great for what I'm looking for. Let's go press Tab, go to object mode, or edit mode, sorry, press 3 to go to face mode, select this face on top and press S and scale it down. That's too much, probably around there. Perfect. Let's go to my y-axis, and in my y-axis I'm gonna use my knife tool. So let's select the knife tool, and I'm gonna click right here, and before I snap it right there to my other click, I'm gonna press C, so it cuts all the way through. So press C and enter. Okay, so let's do that again. Let's click there, let's press C and click and enter, and you see when you press C, it kind of like changes the color of the vertex. And let's do the latest cut right there, and this one, let's put it like around here. Press C, and there you go, enter. Now that we have all of those ones, I'm just gonna select them with Alt to select the whole loop. Let's press 2 first, Alt to select the whole loop, Shift Alt and Shift Alt. Then let's create a bevel. So I just need this bevel like that big. That's awesome. Okay, now after that I am going to delete these guys, these faces. So delete those faces. Perfect. After deleting those faces, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all these loops, edge loops. So Shift Alt, just keep pressing Shift Alt. I don't release it at all. And this one already has there. Okay, so let's press F to fill that face. Let's select this loop and let's select this loop. And now I'm going to bevel these edges all around there. Let's open this bevel window right here and segments, put it to 2 and click outside. Perfect. Then I'm gonna go with Control R to insert a loop right there, right in the middle of each one. Enter, press Escape just to put it right in the middle. So Control R, click and escape, and Control R, click and escape. Perfect. So I have all of them. So now I'm gonna press Alt and click just to get the whole thing. Then Shift Alt click, Shift Alt click, Shift Alt click to get all the loops. And now I'm just going to let's do something first. I'm just gonna do it individually. So let's do this one first. So they're kind of like a different sizes, you know. So some are big, other ones are not that big, other ones are thinner than the other ones, so they're not the same size, so we can kind of like randomize a little bit this part. Perfect. So I have this, it's looking pretty cool. So now I'm gonna press Tab to go to object mode, and I'm going to duplicate. So press Shift D and then escape. So Shift D and duplicate and then escape, just to leave it like that. I'm gonna hide my original one right there. So I have my cylinder 0001. Those ones are gonna be the ribbons. Now that I have those ones, I'm gonna go press Tab, go to face edit mode. I'm gonna select all the faces, the new faces that I created. So let's go press 3 to go to the face mode, and with Alt, Shift Alt, Shift Alt, and Shift Alt. No, you have to do it like right here. Like if you would do it right in the middle, it's gonna select the ones there. So let's do it right there. Okay. So after having that, I'm just gonna press Ctrl I, just to invert the selection, and then delete and delete faces. Now that I have those ribbons right there. Now that I have the ribbons, I'm gonna add a modifier, and this is gonna be a solidify modifier, and I'm gonna add a thickness of -0.03. Okay, and then I'm gonna apply this. Let's get out of edit mode and apply. Let's go back to edit mode, and let's select all my edges right there. So press 2. Let's click this outside because I had selected something else that I shouldn't have. And let's click here, let's click there. And these ones as well. These ones as well. These ones too. These ones as well. And I'm missing that one right there. So let's right there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add another bevel here. Just a tiny bevel. It's too much around there. And segments 3. Perfect. Segments 2, sorry about that. So now I can turn on my cylinder. Let's press Tab there. And this is what I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to go to the snap my view to the Y axis. I'm going to select all of them, and I'm going to scale them down a little bit, tiny bit, and I'm going to move them down. So let's move them down right there. Perfect. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to press Ctrl P, I believe. No, it's let's select this one and go to edit mode, right click and separate by loose parts. Boom. Press Tab again. Let's go with the ribbons. Press Tab, right click and separate by loose parts. There you go. Now all of them are separate, so it's easy for me to move. So I'm just going to select these two. Oh, let's get out of edit mode. So let's select these two. Press GZ and move it up. Select these two, GZ, move it up, and let's select these two, GZ, and move it up, probably around there. I'm just gonna make a little bit more space And let's move these ones up as well. Right there, perfect. Now I can just select these ones and Ctrl J to join. Add the modifier, subdivision modifier, and I'm gonna go with 3. And then these ones, I just want these two together. So I'm gonna press Ctrl J and these two together because they're gonna have different materials. Ctrl J. Okay, and let's add a modifier here. What I can do this pretty simple here. I'm just gonna select all of these ones and then this, and then gonna press Ctrl L, and I'm gonna link or copy modifiers. So I'm gonna copy those modifiers there, so I don't have to do it again. Okay, that's great. That's looking pretty good. Then I'm gonna create a material, but no a material. I'm gonna create my Christmas balls. So let's press Shift A, go to Mesh, UV Sphere, and I have my UV Sphere. Let's scale it down around there, and let's move it outside a little bit so I know what I'm doing. So I can see what I'm doing here. Let's add a modifier, a subdivision surface, levels 3 and 3. Perfect, that's enough for me. Okay, so let's create a material for this part there. So I'm just going to split my camera, like not my camera but my let's do something first. Let's join these areas here. I'm gonna split this. No, not like that. Oh, no. Okay, from there let's split it like that. So this is gonna be my camera, okay, and this is gonna be my perspective. And if I drag this down, I'm gonna create another view, and this one is gonna be my shader editor. Okay, perfect. So I have a shader editor right here, so I can manipulate, move, and see how my camera is gonna move up here. So I haven't created my camera yet. I'm not worried about that yet. I just want to create the materials for this sphere first. Okay, so let's create this material first. Let's go here to materials, new. Let's do this. Okay, I have it right there. And what I'm going to be creating here is a noise first. Okay, so let's create a noise texture. Ctrl A, search noise texture. After the noise texture, I'm going to create a color ramp. So Shift A, search color ramp. Okay, perfect. I'm going to connect the color to my base color, and I'm going to connect the color to the factor of my texture here, of my noise texture. I'm gonna select the noise texture. I'm gonna press Ctrl T. This is the node Wrangler. If you don't have it, you can activate it in Edit, and you can go to Edit Preferences, and you will find it in the add-ons. Okay. Now I'm gonna change the colors here. So in this case, I'm just gonna go with these colors. Right there. I'm gonna change my render here to probably Eevee. Let's see. Right there, so I can see what's going on in there. I'm gonna use cycles, by the way. I'm not gonna use Eevee at all. So I can kind of like try to see what I'm going to do there. Sorry. So I'm gonna select this white one, and I'm gonna change it to red. And then I'm like a Christmas red, and then I'm gonna select the black one. I'm gonna change it to green, kind of like a Christmas green, but it's too bright, so I'm gonna bring the value down around there. So perfect. Something that I have to change here is the scale, and this is pretty kind of like a randomized, so I have to separate those textures, those colors, kind of like in a better way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add another node right here in the middle. It's going to be Ctrl A, search, and separate X, Y, Z. There you go. Okay, now this is going to update shortly, and you're going to see now I have those lines that are going to have a really nice. But I'm going to change the X. I'm going to grab the Y instead. And this is going to be from the top down. Let's see. Okay, perfect. This is much better. That's what I want. Let's kind of like move the scale like around there, the roughness down to 0, and increase the details, or reduce the detail right there, kind of like that, I would say. You can add the scale a little bit more to create more lines like that, and that's perfect. Okay, that's great. So I have the color, but I want to make this very reflective. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this node color ramp, and I'm going to duplicate it, Shift D, and duplicate it, move it down, get the color to the factor, and I'm going to change these colors here. So the green is going to be black, and the red is going to be white. So let's put the volume saturation 0, white, and this color is going to go to the specular, and you're going to see what is going on there. So whatever has the red is going to be very full specular. You see now, because I have the roughness high, if I turn the roughness down, look, and the green is pretty matte because I have that. Probably if I change the black one to a gray, it's gonna be a little bit different, but let's keep it black. Boom. So we have that separation right there. Perfect. So now that I have my sphere right there on my Christmas ball, let's move it out a little bit like that. That's perfect. And let's move it around this area right here. Perfect. I have that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create my camera, because I'm ready. Once I have my camera, I'm going to duplicate my spheres, and then I'm going to put them randomly. So let's create a camera. Shift A, camera. Perfect. There's my camera right there. I'm just going to select it from here already, and I'm going to go to View, Cameras, Active Camera. I'm going to press N, and here in View, I'm going to go Camera to View, and then I'm going to scroll out to see my camera. But before I do that, I'm going to change my render settings here in the resolution format, 1080 by 1080. This is what I want to take. So let's move it, let's place it really nice right there, and then lock the camera right there. And take this one out. Okay, perfect. Press N again. And this is like the camera that I have right now. And I'm not sure, it's kind of like crooked a little bit. So let's move it a little bit more in the middle. That's much better, I would say. Let's move it out, probably around there. So we give it some room. Okay, now I can take this off. Perfect. Okay, let's close this, press N, and then I'm gonna add a Hdri. So I have my shader network, or my shader node workspace here. So instead of object, I'm gonna change it to world. And in world, I have the world output, the background, and I want to hook up Hdri. I'm gonna press Ctrl T. This is my wrong. Wow, wait a second. Just select the background and press Ctrl T. This is my node Wrangler. Okay, press open to the image, and I'm gonna look for my Hdri. I find these Hdris at Polyheaven. Super great website to find Hdris, and then I'm gonna use the Paul Lobhouse. So open image. Okay, that's perfect. I'm gonna go to my render view. I'm gonna change this from Eevee to cycles, and I'm gonna change the device to CPU, from CPU to GPU. Okay, perfect. Now I'm gonna change my Eevee, and I'm gonna go right to my cycles render. Now I'm looking this is looking much better. Okay, now that I have the cycles rendered, I don't want to see my Hdri in the background, so I'm just going to turn it off. I'm going to go here in my world scene and ray visibility camera off, turn it off. And if you want this transparent, you just go to your render settings, film, and transparent, and there you go, you have it right transparent right there, the background, in case you guys want it like that. Now that I have my Hdri, I really want to, one is too strong. Sometimes I use, or most of the time, use the HDRIs just to create an ambience. So I just kind of like cut it down to 0.5 or 0.1 or 0.2. I just want to put it like an ambience to my scene. Pretty much that's what I want to achieve. Okay, let's change this world to object and let's start putting some materials here. So let's create this material first. Let's go to the material tab, new, and let's go with a Christmas green around there. Perfect. I like the roughness as it is now. Let's go to this one, new, and let's add a little tint of blue right there. That's probably too much around there. Perfect. Okay, that's looking good. Then I'm gonna add the ribbons. So the ribbons, these ones are gonna be red, the other ones are gonna be no, let's make these ones kind of like a metallic. So let's add this metallic here. Let's put the specular at 1, the roughness really low, and you have metallic and shiny. This is looking perfect. And then I'm going to select this one as well. So let's take this one, metallic up, specular up, and the roughness, bring it down around there, and let's change the color to a nice red, something like that. Perfect. So we're getting there. Now that I have my sphere there, I'm gonna duplicate it a couple of times, scale it down. Let's move this one here. Let's grab this one and just kind of like move them randomly, you know, around there. And also, like, something that we have to do is kind of like rotate it so it's not kind of like, doesn't look like the same over and over, you know, just to add some variations to it. And let's duplicate this one again right here. Let's move it and let's rotate it to the other side like that. Let's move it a little bit closer to the tree. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate this material. So it's going to be material 06. But I'm going to change the colors. That's what I want to do. So to change the colors, I'm going to go to the red one. I'm going to change it to kind of like a yellowish, like that, probably. And the green one, I'm going to go to white, plain white. And the saturation, bring it down. Okay, perfect. But this is probably too light for me, so let's bring the value down, more like that. Perfect. Okay, now I have these spheres, so let's duplicate it again, and let's put the random, let's scale it down. Let's grab this one again, Shift D, duplicate, rotate it, scale it down like that. This one I can scale it up a little bit, that's too much. No, around there. Okay, so I kind of like have my tree in one side. Let's put this one a little bit smaller, and tree on the other side. Let's put this one a little bit bigger. Perfect. Okay, now that I have those ones, I'm just gonna create another sphere, kind of like a Christmas lights. So let's go Shift A and add a light, not a light, sorry, a mesh, and these ones are gonna be like a UV spheres as well. Okay, if I don't want to create a new one, I'm just gonna take this one, delete it. I'm gonna grab one of these ones and duplicate it, scale it down very small, probably around there. I'm gonna delete this material for it. I'm gonna create a new one, and instead of principal BSDF, I'm just gonna create an emission material. And with the emission, I'm just gonna go with the red, and let's put the strength up. You see, now you can start seeing that I have that really close. If I move it closer, look, this start kind of like emitting light, if you see in this place. Okay, now that I have that one, let's duplicate it. Let's move it around here, probably closer there. Let's duplicate this one, move this one right there. Let's duplicate it, and let's put one on top, around there. Okay, that's looking nice. Let's duplicate this one and put it around here, and another one there, and another one here, and another one right there. And let's move them a little bit so they're kind of like not in the same line, so they're kind of like around this one. I'm gonna leave it in the same line because it's in the top, on the top of my tree. Okay, so I have this one is gonna be yellow. So what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna delete this, create a new material. I'm gonna create a emission, and let's go with the yellow. That's probably like an orange with the yellow, and let's bring this turn up. Okay, so I have that light, and let's randomize this a little bit. So let's take this one and let's select material 8, and probably this one and select material 8, and that's pretty nice. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a plane. So Control A, add a plane, scale it up around there, bring it down, add a new material. Let's add a red, like this red is nice. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna get the specular down a little bit more. I have this plane. I'm gonna do Shift D, Escape, R, X, and 90 to rotate in 90, and I'm gonna just bring it right there. Okay, I don't believe, am I seeing this plane? I think I am, so I just want to bring it down so I don't see it like in the bottom there. Okay, so now I have, but still my scene is not that's like a nice looking with lighting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a light now. So let's add a light. Let's use a point light, and I'm going to bring it right in this area right there. And I'm going to increase the power. Let's go to 50 maybe, and let's go to 50. I think 50 works good, and I'm going to make this a little bit warmer, so a little bit in the yellows. Perfect, that's great. Then I'm going to create another light, so it's going to be Shift A, light, area light, and then I'm gonna move this light up, and this is gonna be like my backlight. So what is going to separate my foreground to the background kind of thing. Okay, let's have my backlight there, and this is gonna be probably around 60. Let's see what we have there. Probably a little bit too strong, so let's move it like this. Just a little tiny bit, kind of like it gives us a sense of a rim light. That's what I'm looking for. So let's take these. Sometimes I like to manipulate the lights better with my, let's go this with local. Okay, I have better control when I'm doing this. Wait, perfect. Just scale this on Z. No, I think that's good. Okay, just leave it like that, and let's add a little bit of blue in this one, so kind of like make it a little bit cooler, so we have that contrast with warm and cold in the other side. So we pretty much, we have our image here. If you want to render it out, make sure you have the denoise set up there, and just press F12 and your render will be done. So I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell when I post a video every Friday. And take care, guys, and hope you have a happy holidays. Probably I'm gonna be posting one more tutorial before the holidays, but take care, guys, and hope you enjoy this tutorial.